Welcome to One Clue Short of a Treasure, the channel where one missing piece might just be the key to everything. Here, we dig into hidden puzzles, cryptic trails, and overlooked details in books like There's Treasure Inside by John Collins Black. Every chapter, every symbol, every coincidence, we break it down and chase what others might miss. Because sometimes the truth is hiding in plain sight, and sometimes it's just one clue away. Subscribe, follow the trail, and let's see if we can solve what's been hidden too long. And welcome back. So today we're going to go into deep dive in these pictures in the map on the Appalachian Footpath Trail. So I'll be vanishing here in a little bit, but we're going to go ahead and do a deep dive. There's a lot to cover, so I think I'm going to split this video up, only because I want you to all digest everything. So it'll be about a little bit over 10 minutes or so, and we're going to go in to discuss some of the pictures and what's really hiding in there. And when we get by the compass, really pay attention, because there's some things that I just now found tonight when I was doing this video. So let's not wait. Let's go into it. So, first of all, here's a map. We're gonna look at the bear on here. Not much. I didn't really find much on the bear. I think it's just what it is. I did turn it into a negative and to see if I could see anything else. Turned it back, a little black and white action going on there. I didn't really find much, but maybe in the next video we'll dig a little deeper. The rock formation seems to be more pronounced when you go to negative or black and white. Next, we're going to go into the compass here. So the compass itself, on this picture, I didn't find much, but you can see in the north and south, if you're looking at it, assumed north and south, you have arrows pointing up. And then to the left, looks like about at the 8 o'clock position, it looks like a fish, right? But inside the compass, I did see, looked like to be a 1. But on the upper left-hand side here, this is where it really caught my attention. It looks like an F and a 1 and some greater than signs and maybe a / on here. Not really quite sure what that's all about, but let's see if I get into a different view of it. But here's where I really found something. If you look to the right of the compass, you see some letters there. I think it looks like letters, like something's hidden and written in there. And I really couldn't quite make out what that was. So I decided to dig a little deeper and really adjust the photo settings on it. I don't have Photoshop or anything, but I was playing around with it a little bit on my Final Cut Pro. So if you look at it again, now you start to see some letters popping out. It looks like maybe a number, like a 5 and maybe a lowercase a in there. And then you start seeing some letters form. So if you look closely, this is what really stood out to me. It was a little weird. It looks like some letters. This is the best I could do with the photo editing on Final Cut Pro. But as you can see, it sort of stands out. You have a letter, or a number 5, it looks like. It's pretty clear. Some lettering. And then it looks like maybe, I don't know, ALI or something like that in black. It's right below that line. If you were to look at the compass, it's up to the maybe 1 o'clock position. I really couldn't make it out, but it looks like there's a W on the to the right towards the end. I'm not quite sure if this is we're supposed to do something with this, or maybe this is just a red herring that's buried deep in there. Because if you're only looking at the book, not the ebook, you would never pick this out. At least I don't think so. I didn't pick it out. I haven't seen anybody talk about this yet. So that was pretty interesting. We'll get deeper into that later, probably. I'll try to manipulate it a little more. But then we switch over to the map again. So by that little smoke wisp, it looks like we have, I connected the dots. To me, it looks like a mountain, maybe Smoky Mountains. Not quite sure on that. Then we get to the feet. I think everybody is in consensus. Those are feet, and it says car north above it. Not sure if that's short for something, but we'll get a little closer in here in a second. But some people think North Carolina, some people think your car is parked north and you travel south to the trail. I'm not quite sure yet what that is. Maybe the feet signify something different than the lettering in there. Maybe feet is we're supposed to look for something in feet instead of miles. Something to think about, but it does clearly say car north on there. Then we get to the upper right hand side, which we have the numbers 17, 27, and E. Then it says High Point. Now, when we zoom in on this, you can interpret the NE. It could be something else. It could be because it's not really quite clear 100%, right? Everything, it seems, is gray area in here. I'm pretty sure it says NE, but it's all up for interpretation. So if we look at it closer, see how the N looks sort of like IV, IVE maybe. I'm still trying to figure that out, what that means. But then we have the begin here, and this is pretty interesting as well. We'll go ahead and blow this up here in a second, but it looks like, this is where you're supposed to start until you get looking closer at the begin here. I didn't pick this up. I sort of caught this off somebody who was discussing this on Discord a while ago. It seems to maybe be a number on here. So if you look at it, it says 1938, or it could be interpreted as 1938. I'm not really quite sure what to do with that. But it definitely had me thinking again, it's probably not begin here, something to look at. There's a lot going on in here. It does say go fetch, look around, and you have what people think is a Springer Spaniel and this tree. Now this tree is a big part of my boots in the ground solve. As you can see, if you look closer, it does say go fetch. This tree I think is important. That's what led me to my place that I'm to go on the week of the July 4th. So we'll see where that takes me. Now, what we're going to do is just go around the perimeter of the map. This is where I really went down a rabbit hole. This is where I said, I got to split this video in two because we went through it pretty quick and we're already at, pushing 9 minutes here. And we could really get deep into this, and I don't want to take anything away from it. So this is sort of a preview of what we're going to go over on the next couple videos. Maybe if it takes that, I want to go into each item on here that we see around the perimeter and see what we can get out of it. If you see in this clip here, there is what appears to be like a lightning bolt on there that seems to show up a lot throughout the book. We have the bald head, or whatever your interpretation is of it, but there is something there's definitely something going around on the perimeter of this map, which I wasn't a big proponent of at first until I took a high resolution of this and really start to look around. There's some really weird stuff going on. Could it be something just left over from his AI picture that he tried to manipulate? Possibly. I'm not an expert at this, so I don't know. But there we go. We got that little fish up there, what it looks like by the compass. We have the wrinkles around the map, but there seems to be stuff hidden in here. This caught my eye. I did zoom in on it a little bit, change the color around. Not really quite sure. It looks like there's something written to the left of it as well. You know, this is something we're going to dig deeper into in future videos on this. I'm going to beat this dead horse with a stick until I figure out what this stuff is, because folks, I'm going boots on the ground and checking out my solve, and I want to know everything I can possibly to look for on this trail. Here's another item. I'm not really quite sure what to make of it. That's around. The video of this, me scanning around, doesn't do it justice as much as when I zoom in and start manipulating the picture. So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. I hope you do come back, tune in, and we look through it more. This was just a really high-level overview of what's in store. I want to take the time this week to put together a really comprehensive video so we can dig deeper into these pictures. But I wanted to also get your attention to show you what we have in store. So please stick around and, you know, let's see what we could find. Thanks for joining us, and thank you all for everything. We'll see you.